And hello there, everyone. It is Tuesday, time for Mind of the World with your host, Jerry Hinkle. We are coming to you almost live from the Ashley Kringen studio of the UBS network. Wow, it is the first Tuesday in October, so that means that there are all kinds of purple and pink ribbons about. This is two kind of we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we have Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. So you got to be aware of those two things, and we're going to talk about that later, as the title of this episode indicates. First of all, I want to catch up on some things. I haven't been on in a while. There's a reason for that. I have been busy outside of my obligations to the UBS network, and also we had a little hiccup with the computer that has the webcam. I couldn't get internet access on it for like a whole week, and try as I might, I had plenty of internet access with my Apple computer, but that Apple computer does not have a webcam, and this one does. So what I ended up doing was resetting everything to the factory settings, and they kept warning me, if you do this, you're going to lose all the information that you had before you. Well, I figured, well, there's not too much that I would, I'm not going to miss all those pictures of sheep in women's underwear. No, I would just, I can always find one of those, but I'm just kidding. I don't have. And anyone who wants to can come around. I'll show them all pictures I got on. My dad watches that all the time. He's worried I'm going to turn it. Well, we need not discuss that. What we need to discuss is, we have internet access, so problem solved, basically. And there's a lot of been going on in the world. That young lady who apparently, I did not know this at the time, but her position in Kentucky as the county clerk, she's making $80K on that unit. I wonder if the county registrar over in Hyde County makes $80,000 a year. That might be, boy, if I could get $80,000 a year, I could run for that son of a gun, and I'd be rolling in the dough. Don't worry, I'm not going to come back. For one thing, there isn't a decent house in all of Highmore for me. I'd have to build a house in Highmore, for goodness sake. I mean, Holabird. I'm going to have to wash my mouth out with soap after I get done with this, or lemon juice, which my lemon juice is in the refrigerator right now. That would have been a really good gag for that, but anyhow, what else going on? Oh, yes, the young lady who has the county registrar's job there, $80K in Kentucky or Tennessee, wherever it is. I don't know. See, I've heard, point and counterpoint to where I don't know what to believe. There's people say she met with the Pope. Some people say, no, she didn't meet with the Pope. It's just the Pope came to meet her. Well, no, the Pope didn't come to meet her. She went to New York or something like that. And, well, all I know is Pope never made it South Dakota. And, well, that's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. Because he's busy. He can't be everywhere. He's got stuff. And, he had to be back in Rome for Mass or whatever it is that those Catholics do. So, but apparently there are some that say he gave words of support to her when she met with the Pope. There's some that say, well, no, he, and then there's some that say, well, he did they met, but he didn't give her any words of support. He just prayed over her and heard her confession. Well, the previous Pope, John Paul the second, he heard my confession one time. He came to South Dakota, or was that Colorado? I get them confused, all in Rocky Mountains and whatnot. Or was that Utah? Well, we need not discuss that. Anyhow, he heard my confession, at least, 2 hours into it, and then he said, "Let me move along because I got to meet with Bill Clinton." That wasn't actually his. He had a Polish accent, of course, because the Pope was Polish. And by the way, I've been watching these clips of a little musical show called Avenue Q. And as you know, one of my sidelines is producing. And I thought it would sure be nice if I could produce the show Avenue Q for the Mitchell area, because South Dakota people need to hear some of what Avenue Q has to say. And unfortunately, when I saw the price tag on that unit, each of the puppets in the Avenue Q show cost $10,000 to rent. And the gloves, the special gloves that one wears while handling the puppets, causes $10,000 rent. So, after a while that comes into some real money. And, I was thinking, maybe $5,000 for the whole shooting match come down here. Well, that ain't gonna happen. See, they're just as expensive as Sesame Street. It costs $60,000 a year to produce Sesame Street. Can you imagine that? That's just a cookies for Cookie Monster right there. I don't know how that goes. Publicity. The toys, the Elmo toys alone should make up that $60,000. You know that they're making bank on that just right by itself, because there's a lot of people that like to be irritated, and Elmo is all too happy to supply that irritation. Anyhow, so Avenue Q, one of those things on there. They talk about being racist. And the thing is, this Kate monster is telling this fella, he's asking her if she's related to Trekkie Monster, another character on the show. And she's, that's racist. Well, no, that's not racist. They have the same last name. It's like, people my whole, well, not my whole life, but for about 30 years of it, have been asking me if I'm related to the dude that shot Reagan. And of course, I don't become indignant and say that's racist. No, I say, well, no, he was Hinckley, I'm Hinkle. We're relatives by vowel sounds only. So that's, but that whole, and well, one of the things, one clip that I noticed about, they have an actor playing Gary Coleman. Of course, we all know Gary Coleman played Arnold Jackson in the show Different Strokes. He was a child actor. They have someone else because he has since passed. And Arnold, that is to say, Gary Coleman never played Gary Coleman in the show in Avenue Q. And as a matter of fact, he had been, while he was alive, he was toying with legal action toward the show, but never actually came into being. So, but this whole thing about the Pope being Polish is what brought this on. So here's the video. Gary Coleman in the show Avenue Q, or rather the actor playing Gary Coleman in the show. So they was talking about being racist, and he says, well, what about Polish people? Oh, them Polish people, well, the thing about that is, when I was a kid growing up in the 70s, Polak jokes were all the rage, and the P word was the N word back then. This era, that is to say, saying the P word, or Polak, was just about as taboo as became just about as taboo as the N word after he became Pope. You never heard a Pollock joke, and I'm going to stop saying Pollock from here on out. We'll just say P word and and be done with it. But you haven't since he and of course he's been gone for a while, and they still haven't used it. And that's one of those words, P word, the N word, and the R word have all gone away so far. And let's keep it that way for those of you who are not using that kind of language. As a matter of fact, I should be going out to the refrigerator and getting that lemon juice right now and taking about 4 shots for all the. But just trust me, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take 4 shots of the lemon juice. Trust me, I'll do it. I would not lie to you, and if I do lie to you, I'll tell you that I'm lying to you. So there we go. That's so. What else? Oh, I should mention that this past weekend I saw Always Patsy Cline, courtesy of the Dakota Wesleyan University Theater Department. The 2 actresses that were on the show, they did a wonderful job. Dan Miller directed the show to brilliant perfection, I must say. And if there were any imperfections, I did not see them. And if I did see them, I would tell you, because that's the one thing I do like to. I don't even his daughter and daughter-in-law were cast in the thing, and of course the ugly N-word of nepotism popped up. But the thing of it is, it's not nepotism if your cast can do the job, and they did the job. They did better than most people thought they was going to. I'm sure. I have learned throughout the years that Dan can direct pretty much anything to perfection or near perfection. And that it's not a question of will he, but how will he. And so I found out how he will direct, because music was great. Jenna Miller, his daughter-in-law, played Patsy Cline with an almost eerie vocal and physical resemblance. There's whoever did the makeup job on that young lady they deserve a special theatrical award, if such a thing is possible. It wasn't possible back when I went to Wesley, because well, maybe I just wasn't good enough for one of their awards, because I didn't get one when I played Dr. Albert Dussel, or Dr. Franz Pfeffer, who became known as Mr. Albert Dussel in the show. Well, we need not discuss that. And Dan's daughter, Madison, she handled the comedy and narration rather well, I must say. And Louise Sager, her character, was quite a lively young lady back in the 60s from the look of things. Well, I like to party with Louise, and so I did some research to find out just where Louise is and how old she is. Turns out she had a fatal disease and died about 11 years ago, sometime around 2004, and her current husband at the time posted that to a website, and that was kind of sad, because I would have. And of course, you figure how old she was. So, well, she in the show, Louise claimed that she was only a year older than Patsy Cline, which would have put her around the age of 82 now. At 82, she would be old enough for me to keep up with. I couldn't have kept up with her back in the 60s because I wasn't even born yet. But that was quite a deal, and that was and they had concessions, 2 cookies, I got 2 snickerdoodles for $1. That was nice. A bottle of water for $1. Somebody had punch. I don't know who you had to be to get punch. I didn't hear the word punch. I'd have got me some punch too, because the concessions is where theater makes their money. Theater, excuse me. I'm starting to slip into my Hollywood accent. We can't have that. Okay, so we've got all that covered. I think it might be time for us to launch right into the main portion of the show, the reason why I have called you all together to talk about the ribbons, the truth about the ribbons. We have, in October, we have the purple ribbon and the pink ribbon. Everybody knows about the pink ribbon. If you're not aware of breast cancer by now, I don't know where you've been hiding, because every chance somebody gets, they're bringing it, especially in October. There's all kinds of breast-related things going on in social media. They're always posting, and they got the bracelets that say "I love boobies." They got the T-shirts that say "Check for lumps, save your bumps," and other pithy little sayings like that. I can't imagine the pink ribbon corporation, the corporate entity that's I hate to say the word cash cow, because it is to do with the ladies out there. And before I go on, I don't want anyone to labor on to the misconception that I am anti-woman. Okay, maybe I'm a little bit, but 3 of my mother's 4 sisters are breast cancer survivors, and so I take breast cancer and all of those who are victims and survivors, I tend to take that to heart, because these 3 ladies are just 10 feet tall with the way that they looked breast cancer in the eyes, and then kicked them in the kicked it in the teeth there. And of course, I also remember Brenda Mehling, who did not survive breast cancer, and she was a young lady who at her age, she couldn't get breast cancer. Well, guess what? She done did. And so that's how that turned out. And she has a foundation. I'm going to try to find a web link to her foundation, see if I can get that down there somewhere. You look down there. If you can't find it, it's just because I haven't. I'll get to it before the day's over. I don't know if I'll do that before or after I take the 4 shots of lemon juice, but I'll take the 4 shots of lemon juice before I even get to the home office to where I upload this here, because we don't see, we do this in the studio, then we upload it at the home office. That's how we do things around here. Anyhow, so that's okay. And the thing I want to talk about is domestic abuse now. The purple ribbon crowd, they have a tough job, because let's face it, the pink ribbon and the breast cancer, that's all kind of, they use. It sounds crude to say, but they use sex to promote breast cancer awareness. And, nothing wrong with that. Whatever gets the money flowing in to do the actual, I don't know how much of the money generated by the pink ribbon corporate entity goes towards research, or if it just goes toward more awareness of it's all there's awareness, then there's research. I think it more goes toward the awareness than goes to the actual research, I think. But if someone was but domestic abuse, there's no real good way to sexy that up. It's not. As a matter of fact, the purple ribbon in itself, the purple ribbon looks like a bruise for good reason. They want to drive that point home, is that ladies are getting smacked around by their domestic partners. And there's children being smacked around by their guardians, and that's not kosher either, and that's a very serious thing. I had a cousin. I had two cousins, actually. One that was smacked around by her husband, and at one point he allegedly shot her to death. They had two trials, and in both trials they convicted him of her murder. So that's that. And I had another cousin who was either beat or stomped, possibly both, to death by her live-in boyfriend. What a prize he must have been. But either case, to have a lady go through that by someone that she cared about a great deal, who she loved, is sad. And if it happens to one person, it's too many. It happened to two people that I don't. I hate to say it, but I didn't really know either one of them that well. I knew that I knew Pam was my cousin. I did not know about the other, who I've since forgotten her name, and I probably should have. But and it's sad that I forgot her name. But it's not pleasant, and that's why we have so many domestic abuse shelters in this country, and they all need our love and support, our money, our used cell phones, pretty much anything that we can do. And I'm not sure how to put. Before this month is out, I'm going to figure out how to. There's like, if anybody knows of a domestic abuse shelter that has a website or anything, you put that in the comments, and I'll make sure that and I'll make sure that it gets in down there too, along with Brenda Mehling's foundation, and we'll get that done. And I guess that is the truth about ribbons, and that is what's on the mind of the world. This is your host, Jerry Hinkle, reminding you to get out of the bathroom because you're invading my privacy. And until next time, world, God be with you, and do the best you can.